John chapter 1, and it records such a great story that gives us an inside look to what life looks like when you walk in devotion with the Father. When you really begin to uncover His heart and understand our place of identity in Him and everything that He has for us. I was reading it in the Passion Translation, and I want to take some time and I just want to read that and then just share with you a few things that came to mind as I was reading that passage. This is what it says. The next day, Jesus decided to go to the region of Galilee. There He found Philip and said to him, "Come, follow me." Now Philip, Andrew, and Peter were all from the same village of Bethsaida. Then Philip went to look for his friend Nathanael and told him, "We've found him. We found the one we've been waiting for. It's Jesus, son of Joseph from Nazareth, the anointed one. He's the one that Moses and the prophets prophesied would come." Nathanael sneered, "Nazareth? What good thing could ever come from Nazareth?" Peter answered, "Come and let's find out." When Jesus saw Nathanael approaching, he said, "Now here comes a true son of Israel, an honest man, with no hidden motive." Nathanael was stunned and said, "But you've never met me. How do you know anything about me?" Jesus answered, "Nathanael, right before Philip came to you, I saw you sitting under the shade of a fig tree." Nathanael blurted out, "Teacher, you are truly the Son of God and the King of Israel." Jesus answered, "Do you believe simply because I just told you I saw you sitting under a fig tree? You will experience even more impressive things than that. I prophesy to you an eternal truth. From now on, you will see an open heaven and gaze upon the Son of Man like a stairway reaching into the sky, with the messengers of God climbing up and down upon Him." As I was reading this story, it really began to hit home in that I believe that myself as well as you, we are called as sons and daughters to walk in intimacy with the heart of the Father. What does that look like? I believe it looks like Jesus as He spoke to Nathanael here in John chapter 1. The truth of the matter is, Nathanael was ultimately walking in a place of secret devotion to God. Jesus looked at him even before He had met him. He knew Nathanael. He knew Nathanael's name. He knew his address, and He knew the current situation and the current circumstance, the standing of Nathanael's heart. I think that's so important. When we walk in real devotion and intimacy with the heart of the Father, He knows our heart. Jesus says to Nathanael in verse 47, He saw him approaching. He says, "Now here comes a true son of Israel, an honest man with whom no hidden motive." Real sons and daughters of God, the people that we are called and purposed to be in the earth, God has desired our hearts to be pure. We know that we're really walking in love and in relationship and in intimacy with the Father when our hearts are pure. Other version says, "A man in whom there is no guile." There's no wicked intent. There's no wicked motive. The only passion of Nathanael's heart was to walk in devotion to Yahweh God. I believe that should be the cry of our heart today. It should be to walk in devotion to the Lord, to walk in devotion with the Father, as it says in the Genesis creation account that Adam and Eve walked with God in the cool of the day. We're called to walk with God in the cool of our day, whatever that may look like, whether that day's good, whether that day's bad. I believe that walking with God is not a posture of outside circumstance, but it is a posture of our heart. Nathanael had that posture down. But Jesus continues, not only was Nathanael's heart postured in intimacy with Yahweh, but it also goes on and Jesus says, "Nathanael, right before Philip came to you, I saw you sitting under the shade of a fig tree. In the Bible, it's historic Jewish tradition that rabbis, teachers of the Holy Old Testament scriptures, would sit under fig trees and teach their disciples. The fig tree is a representation of devotion. It's a representation of love. It's a representation of spiritual fruit. I believe that Nathanael had gotten this thing down within himself so much that he had a private devotion before he had a public declaration. The Father is calling us to live lives where we have a private devotion to his heart, much longer, much wider, and much deeper than any public declaration to the world. For it is within our private devotion that our public declaration should be birthed. When you find that you are a son and a daughter in intimacy in the secret place, then it should happen and become a declaration and a cry of your heart in the marketplace. We're called to love his heart in secret before we begin to love his heart in the marketplace and in public. I believe that the heart of the Father tells us that it is not only the gushy and the cuddles and the love portion, but the heart of the Father is that, and it is righteousness. The heart of the Father is love, and it is justice. Nathanael had found that place of love. Therefore, he was able to sit under the fig tree. Therefore, the Lord was able to recognize within Nathanael that he had pure motives. I want to encourage you that as you listen to this and just this synopsis of John chapter 1, I pray that your heart would not be gripped by condemnation for not doing the things that you were supposed to do, but I pray that your heart would be gripped by intimacy and passion for the Savior. The love of the Father would begin to surround every part and parcel of your being. God is looking for people where he can say they have a pure heart. They have a good motive. How do I know? Because I saw them as they were sitting under the fig tree.